Namami buddhaṃ gunasāgarantaṃ sattā sadā hontu sukhiyaverā kāyo jiguncho sakalo dugandho gaccanti sabbe maranaṃ ahañca Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Homage to the Exalted One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Yo paticcasamuppadang passati, so dhammang passati. Yo dhammang passati, so paticcasamuppadang passati. The Most Venerable Mahasangha, in this session we are going to discuss the most important topic in Buddhism, Paticcasamuppada, the dependent origination, or the co-dependent origination or causality, with the five aggregates Pancakkhanda. Buddha says, he who sees the dependent origination sees the Dhamma. He who sees the Dhamma sees the dependent origination. Yo paticcasamuppadam passati, so dhammam passati. Yo dhammam passati, so paticcasamuppadam passati. And also, he who sees the Dhamma sees the Buddha. He who sees the Buddha sees the Dhamma. Hence, that we can say, understanding the dependent origination helps us to understand who the Buddha is. When we understand the Buddha, it means we understand the Buddha's enlightenment, his understanding, great discovery. And also we understand his message, purifying one's mind. And also we can understand who the Sangha is. Therefore, understanding the dependent origination is the link that helps us to understand the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Here, this topic is very, very big topic in Buddhism. It is very difficult to understand. It is clear that one day, Venerable Ananda says that, Bhante, I think something. Understanding the dependent origination is very easy. But Buddha explained that, no Ananda, this is not easy. This is a very difficult topic in Buddhism. That is why people in this world, the beings in this world, they have been coming from birth to birth for a long time. Because of non-understanding of the dependent origination, beings going for a long time, for eons, in this samsaric circle. In this situation, it is clear that Buddha especially says that, Buddha emphasizes that understanding the dependent origination is not easy. You have heard that Venerable Buddha Ghosa, when he explains some commentaries, he says, this is a very big topic. When I am going to explain the Paticcasamuppada, it is like a person who falls into ocean. That is a very big topic in Buddhism. The reason is that there are a lot of variations and theories that the dependent origination is explained. This is not a one way that Buddha has explained. In various ways, according to the audience, Buddha has explained this topic. Therefore, we have to learn many references in Buddhism if we are going to understand dependent origination very well. Especially we can see this topic Udana Pali. After Buddha attained enlightenment, immediately he attained enlightenment. In very few weeks, Buddha reflected on this topic, Paticcasamuppada, what he had already realized. He memorized it, he contemplated it, he reflected on it again and again, from beginning to end, from the end to beginning. He again and again reflect on this topic. And also we can see this topic in several places in Digha Nikaya too, such as Mahanidana Sutta. Again we can see it in Samyutta Nikaya, Abhisamaya Samyutta. Abhisamaya Samyutta completely explains the Paticcasamuppada. And also when we go to Vibhanga Pakarana, there is a very special chapter in Vibhanga Pakarana, Paticcasamuppada Vibhanga. That is very important. When you are free, please try to read it. There are many ways that Buddha has explained the Paticcasamuppada there. Again, we can see this topic in Anguttara Nikaya too. Many discourses in Anguttara Nikaya we can see, especially we can see it in Tittayatana Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya in Tikanipada. There Buddha says there are three views in this world. When Buddha appeared in this world, there are three wrong views in this world among ascetics and Brahmins. What they are? Some people thought that everything happened because of previous actions. That says in Buddhism, Pubbe Kata Hetu. All is caused by what was done in the past. That says in Pali, Pubbe Kata Hetu. Some people thought that everything happens based on our previous karma. That is not accepted in Buddhism. We can see some influence in our past karma, but it is not only one reason. And again, some people thought that all is caused by God's creative activity. Issara Nimanavada. Some people thought that everything is created by the God. That is also not accepted in Buddhism. And that is also one of the views that they had before Buddha appeared in this world. And also there is another view that we can see, Ahetu Appachatavada. All occurs without a cause or condition. The things happen in this world without any reason. That says in Pali, Ahetu Appachatavada. The very first one is Pubbe Kata Hetuvada. Everything happens based on our previous karma. And next one is everything is created by the God, Issara Nimanavada. And the other thing is everything happens without any reason, Ahetu Appachatavada. These three views are not accepted in Buddhism. Decline these views, the Buddha has explained another theory, which is that causality, dependent origination of Paticcasamuppada. Iti imasmin satidang hoti, imasmin asatidang hoti. When this is, this is. When this is not, this is not. This is the main theory of the dependent origination. This theory is explained in various ways. Sometimes Buddha explains is that imassa uppada idang uppajjati, imassa nirodha idang niruddhati. Sometimes Buddha explains is it that yankinchi samudaya dhammam sabbanta nirodha dhammam. When Buddha preached Dhamma, 5 ascetics, Panchavaggiya Bhikkhu, Buddha explained the Paticcasamuppada in one sentence, yankinchi samudaya dhammam sabbantan nirodha dhammam. If something arises because of some reasons, when those reasons or causes cease, the result also ceases. That is the way, in the first time, the Buddha explained this theory to the world. As the result of listening to this sentence, firstly, Kondanya Bhikkhu attained the first level of Nibbana, Sotapanna stream entry. And also we can see another sentences for this understanding. When Venerable Sariputta met Arahant Assaji, how did Arahant Assaji explain this message? Ye dhamma hetuppavā tesang hetun tathagatvaha. This is the way how Arahant Assaji explained the Paticcasamuppada in another words. When Buddha met Bhikkhu Bahya, Buddha explained this message, Evang hite bahya sikkhitabang, ditte dittamattam bhavisati, sute sutamattam, mute mutamattam, so on. Like that, we can see this theory in various words. Sometimes Buddha says, avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam, so on. With the arising of ignorance, mental formations arises. With the arising of mental formations, consciousness arises. This is one of the ways that Buddha explained the Paticcasamuppada. Sometimes Buddha says, avidyayatve vasyasya viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho. Sankhara nirodha vijnana nirodho. With a complete eradication of ignorance, mental formations cease. With the eradication of mental formations, consciousness ceases. This is the way sometimes that Buddha has explained the Paticcasamuppada in another way. Like that, when we search the Tripitaka, we can see these differences. However, the background of theory is that iti imasmin sati idang hoti, imasmin asati idang hoti. When this is, this is. When this is not, this is not. When we discuss this topic, in the primary level we can see this can be applied to explain the material world. 4 fundamental elements. When there is a seed, plant arises. Such as, we apply it to the 4 fundamental elements. And also, sometimes we use it for our spiritual world, for our experiential world. But when we go to the deeper level, it is very clear that when we experience 4 fundamental elements, without consciousness, we are unable to recognize them. It is a story that there is a tree in a jungle. It falls down. with a big sound, but nobody is there. Is there sound there? It is a philosophical question. Even though it falls there, if there is nobody there, who experiences the sound? These four fundamental elements appear when a person appears. It based on a person. That is why Buddhism has explained not only 4 elements but 6 elements. Pathavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Akasa, Vijnana. Normally when Buddha explained formal world or Kayagata Sati, there we can see 4 fundamental elements. But when Buddha explained the person of being, we can see 6 elements. Pathavi, earth element, Apo, water element, and Tejo element, fire element, Vayo, air element, Akasa, space element, and Vijnana element, consciousness element. There are 6 elements. 6 elements we can see that Buddhism has explained. And the form world, the material world appears in this world when a person is alive in this world. That forms or material world can be explained in various ways. Past, present, future, here, close, far away, so on. There are 11 ways that the Rupa is explained. However, when we experience the world, actually we can see there should be 5 things, 5 aggregates. Rupa, form, Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations, and Vijnana, consciousness. This is the best of all the experience that we receive through our senses. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we taste something, when we touch something, there are 5 aggregates arise. We experience only one experience at once through one sense. When one sense acts, the other sense are dead. But these things are very fast, therefore we think all the senses work together. But one works at once. And when Buddha explains the Tittayatana Sutta, decline those 3 wrong views. Pubbekata Hetuvada, Issara and Ahetu Apachatavada. Buddha explains the theory Paticcasamuppada, the dependent origination. Buddha says very clearly, in the past I explained only 3 things. In the present also I have to explain only 2 things. In the past and the present I explain only 2 things to the world. What they are? The suffering and the cessation of suffering. In short, with details, the 4 noble truths. Buddha explains suffering and the cessation of suffering. When he explains suffering, he explains the suffering and the arising of suffering, or the cause of suffering. When he explains the cessation of suffering, he has explained the cessation of suffering and the path that leads to getting rid of suffering. Then we can see Four Noble Truths. And also, when Buddha explains the dukkha satya, the truth of suffering, Buddha usually explains the five aggregates. That is very important. Dukkha satya based on Pancakkhanda. And also, when Buddha explains the origin of suffering, the Buddha usually uses the arising of five aggregates. And also, when Buddha explains the cessation of suffering, he has explained the cessation of the five aggregates. When Buddha explains the path that leads to getting rid of suffering, Buddha has explained the way how we reflect on five aggregates. Samudaya, Vaya, Asada, Adinava, Nisarana. Samudaya arising, Vaya cessation, and Asada gratification or enjoyment, Adinava danger, and Nisarana liberation or letting go. With this information, it is clear that the dependent origination or the Paticcasamuppada and the five aggregates, Pancupadanakkhanda, are interrelated. And also, in another way, the Four Noble Truths are also related to here. How is that? When Buddha explained the arising of suffering according to Tithayatana Sutta, what Buddha has explained? Buddha explains the arising of suffering, how he explains avidya pacca sankhara, sankhara pacca vijnanam, vijnana pacca namarupam, so on. Arising of five aggregates, so arising of our world. This is the way that Buddha has explained the Samudaya Satya. And also, when Buddha explained the cessation of suffering, how did he do it? Avidyayatveva asesa viraga nirodha, sankhara nirodha, vijnana nirodho, so on. With the complete eradication of ignorance, mental formations cease. With the eradication of mental formations consist with ignorance, consciousness also ceases. This is the way that Buddha has explained the cessation of suffering. Now, Bhantes, Reverence, now you can understand very clearly the Paticcasamuppada, Four Noble Truths, and Panchakkhanda, five aggregates, are interrelated. That is very important. If a person understands the dependent origination, it means he understands the Four Noble Truths and the five aggregates too. If a person understands the Four Noble Truths, he understands the dependent origination and Pancupadanakkhanda or five aggregates as well. If a person understands the five aggregates, Pancupadanakkhanda, he understands the dependent origination and the Four Noble Truths as well. As the result of understanding these three things, we find the path. What is the path in short? Ayameva aryo attangiko maggo. the Noble Eightfold Path with details. Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggo sattana visuddhya, only path which is mindfulness in short. In short, mindfulness with details, the Noble Eightfold Path, Aryattangika Magga. It is very clear. When we discuss the Dhamma, actually the path is very clear. We have no any doubt. When we listen to Dhamma, our vicikiccha, our skeptical doubt gradually should decrease. What is the opposite of vicikiccha or doubt? What is the opposite of vicikiccha? Saddha. Saddha is the opposite of vicikiccha. That is why na sikkaya kankati, na Paticcasamuppada kankati. When we come to the Dhamma with devotion or confidence, saddha, we have no doubt about sikha or training and Paticcasamuppada or the divine origination. As the result of understanding this path, we meet the three disciplines, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, concentration and wisdom. Virtue means Sila, discipline of speech and behavior. Concentration means keep our mind in the particular wholesome object, calming down our mind. And also wisdom means reflecting on three characteristics, anicca, dukkha, anatta. Now we are going to understand the Paticcasamuppada with details. The very shortest way of causality in Buddhism is that Four Noble Truths. The middle way of Paticcasamuppada is that avidya paccaya sankhara, the theory. What is the very vast information in Paticcasamuppada? Susi pratyaya, 24 paccayas, causes. Here we explain the very first, very shortest theory and the middle theory. Avidya paccaya sankhara. When we experience something through our senses, firstly we take only the very primary understanding. As color, as sound, as smell, as taste, as some physical feeling, we take only a primary level understanding. That is not the complete understanding. The very first experience is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. That is neither painful or pleasant. That is neutral. That is just vipaka or reside. But it is very instant. In this vipaka level, we are unable to recognize something completely. That is why it says in Buddhism, na panchahi viññānehi kinchi dhammam pativijanāti. We are unable to recognize something completely through five consciousnesses, such as eye consciousness, ear consciousness, so on. Sabbe dhamma mano viññāna dhātuya viññeya. Everything should be understood by mind consciousness. And also, when we understand or recognize something through our mind consciousness, the very first experience, eye form, eye contact, eye consciousness, Vipaka Manodhatu, Vipaka Manovinyana Dhatu, these things are ceased when we recognize something through our mind consciousness. When we recognize it, if we have no clear understanding at the immediate moment, we take those things as me, as myself. After finishing the experience, we immediately go to the Samudaya Anta, the corner of arising. After cessation of that experience, still we think that still it is happening in this world. A person can blame us once. If we are ignorant and unmindful, we are blamed again and again. A person can blame us once, but if we are ignorant and not mindful, what happens to us? We are again and again blamed. But that person has forgotten everything. We think that that person blamed me, that person blamed me. I will see. Again and again we are blamed as the result of ignorance. This is the way how this suffering arises. If we have this ignorance, we create mental formations as punyabhi sankhara, meritorious mental formations, apunyabhi sankhara, demeritorious mental formations, and anindabhi sankhara, imperturbable mental formations. If we are in the corner of arising, we create these three kind of mental formations or thoughts, sankhara. That sankhara consists with ignorance. It means the very first 5 aggregates are pure. That is why it is said, Pavasaramidam bhikkhave chittang. In the vipaka level, consciousness is very pure. It is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. It is just a vipaka or result. It is neutral. It is pure. But if we are ignorant, when those 5 aggregates come to us, we take it with the dust of ignorance. Then that 5 aggregates are said that Sakkaya or Pancupadanakkhanda. We always take 5 aggregates as Sakkaya or Pancupadanakkhanda. What is the reason? The reason is that ignorance, until we eradicate ignorance completely without remaining anything, even anagami persons, they also take 5 aggregates as Sakkaya or Pancupadanakkhanda. Sakkaya is not away from 5 aggregates. Clinging is not away from 5 aggregates. Sakkaya or Pancupadanakkhanda based on the very first 5 aggregates, which is very pure. Even though they reflect on it as impermanence, firstly it comes to them as Sakkaya or Pancupadanakkhanda. This is the nature of our experience. But if we are wise and mindful, we can eradicate the ignorant stream thoughts. The stream of ignorant thoughts can be controlled by insight meditation or vipassana bhavana. But we run some way, some distance, we run with the clinging. However, because of our practice, which is insight meditation, we can control it. After a person becomes arahanthood, then he has akuppa cheto vimutti, unshakable mind liberation. Arhantas are described. Arhantas are named as akuppa cheto vimutti. Their liberation is unshakable. They have never Sakkaya or Pancupadanakkhanda. Why is that? They have completely eradicated ignorance by practicing them. But other people have Sakkaya, and before Sotapanna we have Sakkaya and Sakkaya Ditti as well. We eradicate Ditti in the Sotapanna level, but still we have Sakkaya until we attain Arhanthood. Sakkaya Ditti also not differ from Sakkaya. Sakkaya Ditti is based on Sakkaya. Sakkaya is based on Panchakkhanda.
So what is Sakkaya?
Yes, Sakkaya means we take our mind and body as me, as myself. That is Sakkaya. In the very first spiritual level, we say that stream entry, Sotapanna, there we eradicate wrong views, self-view, but still we take it is here until we attain fully enlightenment, arahantship. However, there is a very special discourse, Sakkaya, in Khanda Samyutta, Bhantes, you can read it. Sakkaya Sutta, that is very important. Sakkaya is synonyms. Sakkaya synonyms, Pancupadanakkhanda. Then we discussed avidya paccaya sankhara. What is avidya? When we see something, we think that still there is something outside what we are experiencing. When you see me, that you may think that this Bhante is alive at this moment. That is the experience I receive at this moment. It is true in the conventional truth, but when you go to the ultimate truth, absolute truth, it is not true. Why is that? We have given an example for you. The plate with food. When we taste some food, we may think that the food that I am tasting is in the plate. It is true? No, the food I am tasting here is in my mouth. Like that, when you understand me, you understand your previous experience. Very first moment that you have seen, that very first experience has already ceased. When you recognize me, you recognize it through your mind, plus mental formations, and mind consciousness. That is the place where you are in now, truly. But because of ignorance, we are in the Chakkuncha Paticca Rupecha Upadicha Chakku Vijnana. We are in the corner of arising still.
Bhante, please let me just 2 minutes, one minute to make disturb you actually this to get more clarification about this. So, but still we cannot separate this, the plate and the taste, right? I mean, it's conditional process. So to feel you taste, there should be the the conditionality of food. So even though we experience, we come to conscious, we come to know about the taste, and we feel the taste, and everything is after the mind consciousness, but still mind consciousness cannot be a reason without the primary process, right? So therefore I feel like kind of a
It is not away from the first experience.
yes,
Our understanding based on the first experience.
yes,
It is not away from it. But the truth is that when we recognize it, actually this taste that I taken, the plate and food is just example.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I got that. For in each and every feeling,
Based on the very first experience.
yes. So that means this whole process should be taken into account when the sense of self arises in us, right? Not only the mind consciousness, right?
After first experience ceases, then again arise sanya vedana based on the first experience. We take sanya and vedana as mental formations through our mind. Mind and mental formations. Mental formations means sanya and vedana. Mind and sanya vedana based mind consciousness arises. Mind consciousness is the place where we understand it. When we come to this level, we have passed several stages. For our present experience, those stages have helped. But the important thing, those very first stages are not alive at this moment. They have completely ceased. If we take them as still they are happening in this world, that is the nature of ignorance. If we take it still it is happening in this physical world, that is the nature of ignorance. That is why we have craving or attachment to the world. If we want to overcome craving or anger to the physical or material world, we have to understand this reality. As much as we understand this reality, we are able to overcome this ignorance and it helps us to release from the outside material world.
So at the same time, our mind consciousness also subject to that, ceasing, right?
Yes, that is why Buddhism says tatta tatta vipassati. That moment also should be reflected on as impermanent. Sometimes some people they practice jhanas as arupavachara jhana. They think that everything outside is finished, but they take something inside what realize at the moment that mind or mind consciousness is permanent. It is going as a stream. That is misunderstanding. Even though they release from the material world, they can be reborn in the Arupachara Brahma realms. Still, they are in the samsaric circle because of this misunderstanding or ignorance. Buddhism directly show the path not only to overcome the physical or material world, but to overcome our inner world or mind consciousness too. As the result of this path, yatta namancha rupancha asi samupurujyati patigam rupa sanyancha ettesa chiddate jatan. Wherever nama and rupa, nama means mind and mental formations. Rupa means the material world for fundamental elements. Both of them should be seized by our wisdom at the same time. That is the real liberation that we should gain. Here we are discussing avidya paccaya sankhara, Sankhara paccaya vijnanam. Sankhara or mental formations based consciousness arises. This consciousness is different from place to place. Sometimes we can see consciousness of vijnana as a pure thing. Pabassaramidam bhikkhave chittam. That consciousness is the very first experience, consciousness of vijnana with other aggregates. And here, according to one theory, this consciousness consists with ignorance because it started with ignorance. Avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam. Here we create 6 consciousnesses. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, so on. Here we are in the corner of arising or samudayanta. Even though those first consciousnesses have ceased, still we have taken those consciousnesses as they are still happening or alive in this world. That is the nature of ignorance. Because of that ignorance, we create nama-rupa. According to our consciousness, our mind is fixed in the material world, and again our thoughts too. And nama-rupa paccaya vijnanam, based on nama-rupa, mentality and corporeality, salayatanam, our 6 senses, 6 spheres arise. It means those 6 senses are ready to accept the world with ignorance. According to our ignorance, every moment we create these senses. These 12 factors of Paticcasamuppada from avidya to jara marana can be explained in various ways. Here we can explain as a one thought. And sometimes it is expanded as previous experience, present experience and future experience. Firstly, I am explaining here all the factors in 1 second, one thought. As soon as we have ignorance, when we contact the world, immediately these things arise. We can't stop in the middle. In the middle, there are no stop signs, from the ignorance to jara marana or decay and death. And salayatana or senses arise. Salayatana paccaya passo, according to 6 spheres, contact arises. Normal people, they think that we experience something according to the outside material world. But the truth is that we experience the world according to our senses. For an example, when we look at the sky, we see a star. We use a device and we see again, it is not a star, it is a solar system. Again we see it using another device. It is not a solar system, it is a galaxy with many solar systems. Again we look at it with another device. It is not one galaxy, it is millions of galaxies. What is the truth? A star, a solar system, one galaxy, or millions of galaxies? What is the truth? Everything belongs to conventional truth. What is the absolute truth? Absolute truth is that that outside material things based on our senses. That is not the important thing. Very important thing is that whether it is small or large, when we understand it, the very first material experience has gone. It is ceased. Whether we contemplate on 4 fundamental elements or rupa kalapa or atom, No matter whether they are here, they change or not. That is not the important thing. Even scientists, they can divide atoms very well than we do in their labs. That is not the important thing. Buddhism doesn't go far by dividing these atoms. Actually, in sutras, we can see only 4 fundamental elements, or 32 body parts, or 9 charnel ground. That's it. It is not the very important thing. We contemplate on it as a primary technique, as a samatha bhavana. When we go to the insight meditation, searching the absolute truth, what is the reality? Whether outside things are changing or not, whether they are small or large, it is not the important thing. What is the important thing? Important thing is that we can never understand the form in the present moment as a present experience. We always understand the material world after it has gone, it is ceased. This is the very, very important thing. This is the Buddha's discovery. Dividing atoms, scientists can do a lot of things. They explain a lot of things about the atom. But it is not a special thing in Buddhism. Buddhist discoveries that whether they are small or large, whether they are valuable or not, whether they are near or far, when we understand a material thing, we can contact it through our 5 senses at the moment. It is true. We can understand the color through our eye. We can hear through our ears. We can smell through our nose. We can taste something through our tongue. But the very special thing, when we understand it completely, the very first experience, first consciousness, eye consciousness or ear consciousness, those consciousnesses have ceased, and also even the material world that based on our experience has already ceased. That is the special thing in Buddhism. That is the thing that we should understand. If we have this understanding directly, we can focus on insight meditation. If you are gifted persons, if you want to go to the deeper level very soon, this is the way. First, we can practice concentration meditation for a while, then immediately we can go to the deeper level of meditation, which is vipassana bhavana or insight meditation. Then as soon as we see something, we mentally go to the first experience mindfully. We reflect on that. My eye has ceased, form has ceased, eye consciousness has ceased. Just now I am experiencing this thing through my mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also arising and ceasing at the moment.
And it is also not reliable. Understanding through the mind consciousness is also not reliable.
Yes, it is also impermanent. It is also dissatisfactory. It is also selflessness. We reflect on it as 3 characteristics. This is the thing that we do. When we practice this path, we release from outside material world and inside our mind consciousness too at the same time. Salayatana Pachya Passo. According to our Salayatana or senses, we have contact. Through contact, we receive Vedana or feeling, Passa Pachya Vedana. Vedana based on Tanha or craving arises. Through Tanha, we have Upadana or clinging. Through clinging, we have Bhava. Bhava means the process of becoming. Bhava means Bhava based on ignorance. When we are ignorant, we think there are persons, My car is in the park, my home is there, my parents are there. We have the world. When we think something, we may think that is still they are happening, they are living in this world. It is true according to conventional truth, but according to absolute truth, the world appears whenever we take it through our mind consciousness. We have only one thing, 1 second. When you think your mom, your entire life is your mom. When you think your dad, your entire life is your dad. When you think your home, your entire life is your home. At that moment, you have nothing, according to absolute truth. We have one thing at once, but our ignorance doesn't accept it, doesn't believe it. Our ignorance invites us to believe everything. Our ignorance is very friendly. He always invites us to accept everything. He likes that we are in the samsaric circle. That is the nature of bhava, or becoming, the process of becoming. Even though the first experience has ceased in our inner world, still they are here. If we are in the karma level, sensual realm, it means we are ready to come back the sensual world. If we are in the rupa level, form realm, it means we are ready to come back to the form realm, rupavachara loka. If we are in the arupavachara level, formless realm, it means we are ready to go to the arupavachara or formless realm. This is the nature of bhava. Every moment we are creating the bhava or the process of becoming. This is the nature of bhava. When we think something, if we accept that it is in the world outside, it means be sure that we are ready to come back to the world. As soon as we remove these things, we come back. According to our stage of our mentality, we are ready to come back to the world. If we have very severe craving to our home, at this moment, if my entire craving is to my home, it means even though I remove my physical body here, as soon as I remove my physical body here, according to my karmic energy, I will be reborn near my house. If my karmic energy is very high, I may be a deity in a tree or somewhere. If my mind is same thin, just I have, then I will be reborn in a womb of a human being at home or nearby. If my mind state is very low, I will be reborn there as a ghost or animal or any other being. This is the nature of the becoming or bhava. Bhavapacchaya jati, because of this bhava or the process of becoming, surely we have a new birth according to conventional truth. When we go to the absolute truth, we don't say that I will be reborn. It is different according to ultimate truth. But here we usually explain the conventional truth. According to conventional truth, I will be reborn. According to ultimate truth, there is no particular person to reborn. Not only after I die, but even just now, from moment to moment, there is not a particular special person. It is different from moment to moment. However, because of jati or rebirth, jara, marana, vyadi, decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, they come to my world. All the factors happen in 1 second. As soon as we see something with ignorance, everything has created. This is the nature of the process of these 12 factors, Paticcasamuppada. This is the way how it arises as the ascending order, Anuloma Patipada. And also after Buddha attained enlightenment, and also before the Buddha attained enlightenment, not only our Gautama Buddha, but even previous Buddhas, Kakusanda, Konagama, Sikhi, Vesabu, all the Buddhas have started their enlightenment moment reflecting on this reality. First they look at what is the reason of Jara Marana, what is the reason of decay and death. They reflect on it again and again. Then they found that the nearest reason of decay, death, sorrow and lamentation is that birth. Because of birth I had everything. What is the reason of birth? The reason of birth is that bhava, or the qualification that I had to be reborn here. Bhava means we have taken everything around us according to our mental situation. That is why we were reborn here. Bhava pacca jati. What is the reason of bhava or becoming? Upadana or clinging. Because of clinging, we have bhava. Clinging arises because of craving or tanha. Craving arises because of feeling. Not only mental feeling, but even kaya sampasaja vedana, physical feeling too. And feeling arises because of contact, that we contact to the world through our six senses. Passa or contact arises because of our senses. Senses based on Namarupa, mentality and corporeality. Namarupa based on Vijnana or consciousness. Consciousness based on mental formations. Mental formations are based on avidya or ignorance.
So Bhante, that avidya means they are the not knowing.
For now,
what
but
they try to explain about now. Everything is already ceased, but still we think that they exist.
in short, unknowing that reality with details, unknowing the Four Noble Truths. Dukkha Satya. We don't know the very first experience and the next experience, Jara Marana too. Because of not knowing of Jati, Jara Marana, Pancupadanakkhanda and finally Pancakkhanda, because of not knowing of suffering, ignorance arises. And also we didn't know that attachment. We thought that attachment to the world, but we had attachment to our inner world, Nandiraga, our Panchakkhanda or Pancupadanakkhanda. And also we didn't know that the way how to overcome this suffering, the Noble Eightfold Path and the cessation of suffering, or ragakaya, dosakaya, mohakaya, the complete eradication of lust, ill will and ignorance. Because of not knowing of these four areas, we always think there is something outside, even something which is inside, which is permanent. That is why always we take the world. We have combinations, we have craving, we have ill will because of this ignorance. If we see this path, if we see this procedure, immediately we find the path. As much as we know this path, and also we should be confident in this message, what the Blessed One realized. First of all, we should have to be faithful. At the beginning, we should trust it. When you go to a doctor, first you should believe that this person is a real doctor. If not, you never take medicine. You reject it. Like that. When we listening to this message, if we want to go to this path, when you go to a new place, never you have gone yet, first of all, you should trust in the address. Without trusting the address, you can never go to the destination. As soon as you put it in your navigator, you believe it. That is why you drive with confidence. Having gas, with confidence, you drive to the address. Like that. When we follow this path, firstly, we should trust in this is true. Then we practice the path, mindfulness, or the Noble Eightfold Path. With this understanding Samadhi, we develop Samma Sankappa, right intention, right thoughts, loving kindness thoughts, the thoughts of renunciation, the thoughts of non-cruelty. These positive thoughts we develop, and we use right speech, right words, and right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. When mind gains concentration, again and again we reflect on this reality. I is impermanent, forms are impermanent, I consciousness is impermanent, I contact is impermanent. Again and again we contemplate on this reality. We reflect on it again and again. As the result of this path, little by little we reduce our ignorance. And when we see something, firstly we reflect on it, closing our eyes, then we come from the meditation hall. When we see someone, as soon as we see something or someone, we understand this experience has ceased. Now I deal with this person not through the physical person, through my own mind and mind objects. It means we have not only knowledge, but we have mindfulness at the moment. Knowledge is not enough. Vision we should have in the first, but vision is not enough. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. We should have both vision and mission. Vision is we know this vision first, then we always try to live in mindfulness, being aware of our body and mind. We don't give to any person to steal our mindfulness. Mindfulness, our best friend. Every moment, try to maintain, try to develop your mindfulness. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means we are controlled by the outside. It means our happiness depends on outside. Outside people and things can decide our happiness or suffering. Whenever we are mindful, it means we have made a refuge within us by using the Dhamma. Finally, we should not depend on any physical or material thing or person outside, even Buddha or Sangha. Finally, we have made a refuge within us. What is the refuge? Dhamma Deepa Bhikkhave Viharata Dhamma Sarana. Dwell with the Dhamma as an island, as a refuge with no other refuge. That is the thing, mindfulness. Mindfulness is our best friend. Don't keep away your best friend, mindfulness. Whenever you keep your best friend away, it means you are with suffering. We are near the Mara. Whenever we practice mindfulness, it means we are near the Buddha. At that moment, nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. Okay, we have to discuss a lot of things, but we explain this topic in short. Our knowledge is very pure. We are very poor with this knowledge. As we explain this topic, but however, later when we discuss, we can improve our understanding. And not only discussing, but please try to refer these references, what I have given here, by reading, discussing, and contemplating, finally meditating. We have to develop this understanding again and again. For that, I wish you all the best. By the power of the spiritual energy that you acquired here, may all of us be well, happy and peaceful. May our spiritual goals meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation in a very near birth. With that intention, let's say, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Dukkham pantaca nirdukkha, bhayam pantaca nirbhaya, sokam pantaca nissoka, hontu sambe pipanino. May the triple gem bless you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.